All right.
Ready?
Yep.
Before we get to book, let's talk Charlotte. You've been here before.
Yeah.
What do you think of our fair city here?
Well, you know, as a comic, you don't see much of the city. Because you sleep a lot of the day. I guess sleep is more like recover.
Right.
And you're not really waking up, you're more like you're coming to. So that happens, and you walk out. I've seen a little bit of downtown. There's a lot of good restaurants down there, and I like the fact that nobody looks at you bad if you want to have a beer or two in the afternoon.
No, absolutely not. We welcome that.
Yeah, in LA, it's like, you having a beer? Well, I was gonna have two, but I guess just one. But here, it's encouraged. If I ordered a beer and they asked me if I wanted a shot with that, and I knew I was in the right place. Yeah.
Yes. What about you rocking the rocking chairs when you got to the airport?
It's like the person who designed Cracker Barrel designed your airport. You know what? How tired do you have to be where you can't walk across? You're like, oh, I got out of Terminal A. I gotta get to Terminal B, but you know what? I need a rest. I don't think I can make it across the entire airport without sitting down. I mean, I'm surprised there aren't slippers underneath the rocking chairs, just so people can kind of put their feet up, and it's pretty silly, But I will say, I've never quite understood eating sushi at an airport. When I see that sushi thing, like, I hope you make good business, but not for me. I like my food cooked at the airport. Call me crazy.
And even that's questionable at the airport.
Yep, I agree.
Let's talk about your book. These are about your days as a single dad.
Yeah.
I guess first question is, why put out the book now? You're happily married now.
Yeah.
And why put out the book now?
Well, first of all, it's a pretty huge assumption that I'm happily married. But I am. No, I am. I am. Put out the book now for a couple reasons. One, I wrote it when I was writing a lot of the stories when I was single, and it was kind of cathartic for me. I didn't have any money for therapy as what was going on, so I was just spewing things, and stories would come out of the stuff that I was spewing. And I tried to sell it when I was single, but nobody gave a crap who I was. So when I came back and revisited it, people were like, yeah, I told you, let's tell that story. I also want to tell a story because, when I was single, people just naturally assumed I didn't know what I was doing because of a man. And when I'd take my kids to the park, I would have women come up to me all the time and be like, oh, those kids need water. I'm like, yeah, so you're saying they're like other human beings, they need water? Should I feed them too? Because I haven't fed them yet. Like this week, I haven't fed them. So I wanted to put it out to say, look, we may do it differently as a man, but it doesn't mean we're doing it wrong. We just do it a little differently.
I love it. Now, what do the kids think about it now, the book being out?
Not too happy. My son asked me, he was like, do you have to tell those stories? And I said, do you like your new shoes? Because then yes, if you want to, we could go get our shoes used if you'd like, and I can sit at home, but yeah, Dad needs to tell the stories.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, I must ask, why the hat all the time?
Well, if you had read the book, no.
Someone's handler did not get it to me in time.
It's in there. It was something that my mom and dad said to me early on. And then, look, I didn't wear it the first couple times I was on Chelsea. And I would take it off you right now, but I've been sleeping. I just woke up for this interview. I'm not lying. It's not great. But you could Google it. There's hair there. I didn't wear it for the first 5 or 6 appearances on Chelsea when Chelsea first started, because we all had to dress up a little better. And then one day, again, I slept late and showed up with a hat, and they said it was fine to wear the hat. So I wore the hat, and then I just kept wearing the hat because for me, I'm all about kind of comfort and / lazy. So if I don't have to, if I don't have to get my hair did, then I prefer not to. And now I wear it because then I was telling the guys at Comedy Zone, they have a picture of me on their flyer with no hat. And I told them, that's a great picture, but nobody's gonna know who that is.
Like, who's this guy?
Nobody knows who it is. Nobody knows who it is. They're like, who is that?
Josh Wolf the poet?
No, it's like, yeah, it looks like someone from Glamour Shots. It's not a great shot. Like, this guy's going to prom this year? What's he doing? But yeah, so now it's more like, if I don't wear it, nobody knows who I am. We wrote a movie for Adam Sandler, and
Can you tell us anything? anything?
I can tell you that it's based on a true story about a group of 13-year-old kids who played on an all-star baseball team, traveling baseball team, and their coach used the team as cover to rob a bank in every city they traveled to. And the only city he got busted in was the only city that they lost. They lost in the World Series championship game. And the lead detective for the case was the shortstop's father. So he was standing next to the person he was supposed to arrest every day. True story. So it's a pretty crazy story. It's just a matter of if it gets read or made or any of that.
Right. Tell me about Chelsea lately. What has that done for you?
What has that done for me? Boy, we're having this interview, aren't we? I mean, we wouldn't be having I'd be sitting with my book in my house. You know what I mean? It's done everything. It's done everything. You know, I hear it a lot from people who are like, well, you wouldn't be anything without Chelsea, which is maybe true. I was working before Chelsea. I haven't had a real job in forever, but I was just doing things in the business. There are tons of people who are working actors and working writers who's nobody ever known, right? This is just the first high profile thing that I've done, but that's been successful. And there are tons of people who she's given opportunities to that just didn't capitalize. So there are a bunch of us who she gave the opportunity to, and we jumped on it.
Love you on that show.
Thank you.
The whole chemistry with everybody that comes on there is great.
The chemistry is a secret. Somehow, you know when you're watching, it's like when you watch we don't drink before shows. Ever. Nobody's ever drunk. Oh, no. That's a big no-no. Seriously. And she would never, ever be drunk on her show. I mean, I may or may not have accidentally been high once, but that was
That's fine.
No, it was an accident. I was doing a cleanse, honestly, and the guy who gave it to me was like, you know, it's really just, it flushes out your system, so whatever's in your system may come out, it may not, you don't know. So I was doing a cleanse because I wasn't feeling too good and I need to get some stuff out of the system. And what it does, it releases a lot of stored up whatever you have in your organs. So I'm sitting backstage, and I took the cleanse thing maybe like 4 hours before, and all of a sudden I am so high that I was like, what is going on with me? Whatever drugs I had ever taken combined over my lifetime were just surging through my system. So I'm sitting next to her, and she comes out and does her intro, and I was in the seat next to her, and she sits down, she goes, how you doing? And I was like, and she looked at my pupils, and she goes, how high are you? And I go, I can't even tell you right now what's going on. She goes, you gonna be okay? I go, I don't know. She goes, well, let's see what happens. And that's it. But you basically, if you came there drunk, it would be frowned upon.
It's probably good.
It's still where you work. You know what I mean? The bottom line is it's still where you work. The trick to the chemistry is this. It's like when you see a good sitcom, it's like you're watching a family, right? Well, we have a dysfunctional family. People relate to that. We relate to how we make fun of each other, but the undertone of all that is kind of love.